to go, is two questions. First, I wanted to check for house fairies or elf. I remember having a brownie at my house, so I wanted to ask you about that. And then I wanted to ask you about the significance of the crow, if you could expand on that, because all of a sudden I have crows visiting me now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the fairies, I'm just starting to learn about the fairies. The brownies is a type of fairy. And they're really into seeds, and sometimes you see them depicted wearing like a half of an acorn for a hat or on a leaf or something, but the fairies are really into seeds, and I can't tell you how important seeds are. I have friends right now. I live in near the town of Skowhegan, Maine. There's only one Skowhegan in the world. Yeah, it's an Indian name. And there's a woman there who bought the old jail, and she's repurposed it into a grist mill. And so she is now hiring people to grow grains there in Maine, where they haven't grown for years and years, decades. And the whole idea of saving heirloom seeds and passing them on, some of you may know people who do that or do it yourself. It's very important. We're losing varieties left and right. Every year we lose more. There used to be, I think, 270 varieties of cauliflower, and now there are 7, something like that. I mean, I'm not sure about those numbers, but it's that kind of drastic reduction, and a lot of that's due to the GMO that you were talking about. And the seed companies just choose the ones that work the best. You know, the heck with the fact that you like these heirlooms better. I also befriended a greenhouse. I do a syndicated show where I interview people and talked about things. I did one about putting the garden in. That's how you say it in Maine, the garden. And this guy runs a greenhouse, 10 greenhouses, and so you can go to him and say, I really like this variety, would you start it for me? And he has enough room to do that. So he has 25 different heirloom tomatoes in his greenhouses. People like that who keep it going, keep the seeds going, it's very, very important. So the fairies are into that. And crows are, all the birds, crows are so smart, first of all. They're very smart. You know, they may not have the prettiest call, and they may not be the as colorful bird, but they're really smart. And when they come to visit you, they like you. You've got good energy if the crows are hanging around you. My 2 boys, after Emery, the twins were born, and they have crows all around them all the time. And I always plant something for my elfin children. I planted white roses for Emery, and for the boys, because they were born in April, I planted forsythia, and I put crow feathers around the bottom for them. And their stories in the next book, but I will say that one of the things when I'm bringing in an entity with Darcy, and it was important that we were both involved, because they needed me as a human to ground them, and for them to understand what the human experience is. In order for them to communicate with us, they needed to understand. So they needed to go through me to understand that. And I mean, they're raised in a nursery by the elves. I don't raise them because what do I know about raising an elf? But I still let them come through me for that experience. And I always learn about who they were before. And so the twins, I will give you this little hint about the next book. The twins, Ozark and Eureka, one was King Arthur and one was the legend, the person who became known as Robin Hood in legend. And what's great is they tell me their story, and it's the real story. It's there through their eyes, or actually it comes from their spirit guide. Their spirit guide usually comes to me and says, I helped him when he was King Arthur, and this is how it happened, and this is my part. That's what's great about talking with the guides, because it's all from their perspective. All of these books are written from the perspective of the spirit guide, not mine. I'm the scribe. I know I'm the human person here telling you about it, but it's all from the spirit guide perspective. The 2 guardian angel books are Darcy talking, so you'll really get to know him and love him. He's humble, he's smart, and he's got a great sense of humor. And then, of course, the Dawn book was prepared by the master guides, so that's in their words. And when I did that Dawn book, anything I didn't understand, I asked them. I said, explain that better. I don't understand that. I want everyone to understand everything I put in here. So I hope you understand it too. If you don't, I have cards. Come see me at my table and I'll give you my card. Please keep in contact with me. I love it. I'm good at email.